Alright, folks, I'm back once again. Now, you've seen me do video game collection videos before, but usually when I've done those, I've only gone through collections for one single console. Well, this video game collection video I'm about to do doesn't just cover one console. It's going to cover every single video game that I have in my collection to this point. So essentially every video game that I own as of September 2nd, 2014, the date that this is being filmed. Alright, so obviously this is going to take quite some time, but trust me, it'll be well worth it. Now, of course the earliest video game console was the Atari, but I don't have an Atari. And then after that was the NES, but I don't have that either. So, we're going to start with the Super Nintendo games. And the first Super Nintendo game is Jeopardy! Deluxe Edition. And there's 3,500 questions in this. Now, as you all know, because of the copyright strike I got a couple of months ago, I can't play Jeopardy! On my main Leafs Fan 18 channel anymore. But this could possibly be done on my game show Fun Zone channel. We'll have to see about it. I have done a few games of this off camera though. Probably gonna need to practice it a bit more before I feel comfortable doing this on camera. Because a lot of these questions on this version are kind of hard. Oh, and while we're on the subject of Jeopardy! There's also a sports version of the show coming out on Crackle in a few weeks. And I don't mean the video game, the TV version of Sports Jeopardy coming on Crackle in a few weeks. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. So there you go, Jeopardy! Deluxe Edition. Then next up, and by the way, I'm not going in any particular order for this. Next up is Clue. And I actually just did a gameplay of this just recently for my Labor Day special, and unfortunately I lost, but it's still a fun game where you have to figure out who murdered Mr. Body, and with what weapon, and in what room, and of course, who the suspect was. So there we go. And then next up, we've got a couple of sports games here. NHL 96. Now this is a great hockey game here. And we've got the Jersey Devils player and a Red Wings player on the front here. The Red Wings player is Steve Yzerman. I'm not sure who the Devils player is, but still, this is a fun game. Really good game. Then, we've got Super Bases Loaded, which is a baseball game. I've tried this one off camera. It's alright. I mean, it's not a terrible... I mean, it's not a great game. It's not a terrible game either, though, but could be a little bit better. And then we've got M-O-N-O-P-O-L-Y. Monopoly, 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 M-O-N-O-P-O-L-Y. Yep. Based off the popular board game from Parker Brothers, Monopoly. This is a really fun game. I don't know if I've done this on camera yet. I know I've done the Nintendo 64 version of Monopoly on camera, but I don't know if I've done the Super Nintendo version on camera. I'll have to check the videos, and if I haven't, then this might be coming up on YouTube in the future. Then we've got the deluxe edition of Wheel of Fortune. Now, on this version you have 4 regular rounds, the speed up round, and the bonus round. And of course you got the 5 bonus prizes, including the $25,000 cash. Now, there's actually another version of this with a different label on the cartridge. Where, now the other versions of this cartridge still says Wheel of Fortune Deluxe Edition, but it's got a picture of Vanna White on it. That one, though, is kind of the more rarer cartridge between the two. And I'm kind of happy with this cartridge, though, because with the version that I have, because this version plus the deluxe edition version that has Vanna White on it, they're pretty much the same game. So there's no need for me to try to get the other cartridge. And then we've got American Gladiators. Well, this is a pretty cool game. They also had an NES version of this, but, well, I don't have an NES, so obviously I don't have the NES version. But this is still a fun game nonetheless. Okay. Then we've got the regular edition of Wheel of Fortune. And there's Vanna White there. 4,500 challenging new puzzles. Now this one has just 3 regular rounds and then the bonus round. The bonus prizes are the same as on the deluxe version. And then the last one up, the Family Feud. Dun, dun, dun. Now this is definitely a great game to play. If you love the Family Feud, then you gotta get this game up. Look at this. So that's it for the Super Nintendo games. And no, I do not have Super Mario World in my collection for my Super NES games. Yeah, I know while you're thinking, how can you have a Super Nintendo game collection and not have Super Mario World? Well, I'll tell you. It's my choice. I can get whatever games I want. And, speaking of games, we're going to move on to a different set of video games when we come back for part 2.